Sorry about that. Short delay of silence. I had to set up my audio devices, which I forgot to do prior to the stream. Let me just set up my Discord stuff. Alright, we're good to go. Okay, so this is a first look and showcase of the 5PD server that I'm hosting currently. It is whitelisted. I'll be able to link the Discord in the description, because you'll need the Discord whitelist role to be able to access the server. It's a way of filtering out, toxicity. I don't want random people starting to come grief the server and whatnot. I want to make sure people are aware of the rules and how this server works. That being said, I think I can go ahead and link the Discord in right now as we're speaking, because I could just go to the video itself. Shouldn't be too long. Let me just generate a non-expiring link. Perfect. All right. Let's go to my live stream on. There we go. Alright, so this description is there. Support the stream. Oh, I think it's gonna be my Streamlabs thing. Hold on. Settings. Advanced. Okay, well, I'll wait till the stream is done, and I'll add it into the description. Oh wait, no, I could edit right now. I can edit this right now in real time, I think. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so there we go. I think it should have linked. I believe it linked. Let me go look at the description. Yeah, okay. So I've updated the link, so if you go look in the description of the YouTube stream, the Discord is listed down there, so you could join it. Even mid-stream, if you want to join up this stream, you could click the link in the Discord, read the rules, get the whitelist role, and click the direct join server button in the server status page channel, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so the server is partially controller supported. There's some functions that you'll need keyboard for, simply due to the fact that there's so many button mappings for 5PD itself. Menus and submenus, keybinds, but I am playing with a controller right now, so for the most part, like driving, shooting, and stuff like that, like the base GTA things, it is full controller support. I even bounded some of the 5PD controls to my controller, like a call-out menu, stuff like that. These could be all assigned to a controller, which is good. If I had enough buttons on my controller, I would have put all the keybinds for 5PD on the controller, but I put what works for me, and it's all user preference. So if you join the server, you could go ahead and the keybinds customize to your liking. So that's enough about keybinds. If you notice at the very bottom right corner, there's a proximity chat. I have the PMA voice script along with a police radio. Let me pull it out right here. Now this is a radio that allows users to communicate with channels. Now the way I have it set up in the Discord rules is that each department has their channel. And there's a channel in the Discord listed with all the frequencies associated with each department. So, and as you can see, it is full controller support. I've enabled the function to use the radio without having to pull it out, so you could simply just turn on your radio like that, and you hide it, and then you can press your talk button like this, and it'll use the radio. So that's a pretty cool function. Obviously, there's the proximity chat. You got the normal range, whisper, and shouting range. Pretty standard. I've also added a megaphone script that allows you to use a megaphone in or out of cars. Let me demonstrate that real quick. So you do slash... Oops. Slash megaphone like that. It'll give you the megaphone. Now, you don't have to type it every time. You just need to type it once, and it'll give you the megaphone. So the way this works, you could aim it or not. I prefer to aim it like that, and you hold the fire button, and while you hold this, your voice will be broadcasted through the megaphone. You'll notice you'll see that it's working if the bottom right corner range for your proximity chat switches to custom instead of normal. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but it switches to custom every time I hold the megaphone button. That means your voice is getting picked up. You won't be able to hear yourself, but users that have their devices set should be able to hear you. So you could get rid of it by pressing the quick weapon wheel button, and you can press it again. Or if you have other weapons, it'll be identified as the fire extinguisher right there. So it's important to know that. Worth mentioning about the megaphone as well is if you spawn in your custom loadout with the V menu, which we'll get to in a sec, if you spawn that after getting the megaphone will disappear. So, and then you'll have to get it again with the slash megaphone command. So, if I were you, just lower your custom loadout first, and then use the megaphone, so that way you'll have all your weapons plus the megaphone as well. I tried saving the loadout with the megaphone in the inventory. It didn't work. I tried spawning the loadout again, and it didn't want to add it in, so it's worth mentioning. So that's here. Let me show you a demonstration in a car, because you could use the megaphone in a car without having it in your hands. Let me go to my saved vehicles. Now it's only configured to work with emergency cars. See if you could see the if you saw the text at the top left corner, I could hold down on D-pad and you hear that little click, and then you could talk using the megaphone in your police car, which I think is really cool from that script. So that's, I think we covered everything voice chat related: proximity chat, police radio, megaphone. So that's all the voice chat options in this server. Next, you're most likely gonna spawn in as a random ped, as does FRMP. So let's go over character creation. So you could open up the V menu using the M key. You can navigate the menu with the controller or with the keyboard, however you like, but to open it, you can't use a controller. You have to use the M key. So to create a character, it's important to create a character because for the EUP uniforms, like the police uniforms and stuff, they will overwrite the ped model and they'll spawn you as a template GTA Online character that's not been created. So it's important to go here and go to ped MP or MP ped customization. You get to create either male or female, and you get to save them afterwards, like that. And then I have one saved character. You could create multiple saved characters if you want. So that's what I just did one because I'll be using this one. If you don't want to have to spawn in your saved character every time you join the server, you can set this as default character, which means that when you spawn back in the server, you'll always spawn as this character that you created. So whatever character you set default, it'll automatically load it up for you, so you don't have to spawn it again. So that's for character stuff. Now, weapon options. I've restricted the weapons to only weapons police use. So if we go over here real quick, we got the handguns, we got the pistol, stun gun, we got the special carbine, pump action, shotgun. Now, I forgot to add the nightstick. Oh, no, I didn't. Never mind. Forget what I said. I thought I did, but I didn't. So you got the flashlight and nightstick. So you get to equip all these. Now, it's the same premise for characters, so if you don't want to have to re-equip all of that every time you join the server, simply go to weapon loadouts and you could save your loadout. And once you save your loadout, you could turn this on to restore default loadout on respawn. And for this, you're going to have to set this as default loadout, or whatever loadout you're using. So that way, it saves time. But obviously, when you join the server back, you will need to equip the loadout again. It's just if you die, I'm pretty sure you lose the loadout. So it's handy to have that option ticked on. So to spawn loadout, you go to weapon loadouts, manage loadouts, and you whatever loadout you did, and then equip. So that's for loadouts. Same premise for cars. In the server rules, you'll notice that there's a rule to use cars specific to your department. So, example, because right now I'm head of the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. So that's why I have the Blaine County Sheriff Charger there. So if we go to Vehicle Spawner, don't go to Emergency because these are just the default GTA emergency vehicles. So if you want all the cool stuff, it's going to be in the add-on vehicles and then emergency. So these are all the add-on cars. Now, unfortunately, they're all labeled like this because these are the spawn codes. Within the vMenu script, I had to put the spawn codes in the list. I'll try to work on finding a way to label them, but some of these cars are labeled, so if you see LSPD, these are all LSPD cars. Like these state cars, these are actually the sheriff cars. I don't know why they're called state, but it is what it is. And then you got their highway patrols, and then you got your state police. So once you spawned a car, here, let me give you an example on a car that has multiple liveries. Example, this one. Okay, as you notice, it will delete your previous car when you spawn another one. It's to save on performance. Now, as you can see, this does not look like a state police car at all. It's an unmarked car with a light bar. Here, let me change the time to noon, just so you guys see better. I'm sorry for the flashbang. So you go to vehicle options. You can wash your car and repair your car. I've left that option enabled. But if you go to liveries, as you can see, I could toggle the livery on or off. These only work for cars that have liveries, obviously. Like, the livery option will still be there for cars that don't have this, but you just won't be able to switch liveries. It won't have more than one. So, and then you could go to extras to toggle all the different extras, you know, push bars, stuff like that, lights. we go. So if you're done configuring your vehicle and you don't want to have to do this all again, don't worry about that. You could just go to saved vehicles and then you scroll up. If it's the first time you use the menu, then it'll most likely already be on this option. You just save the current vehicle and you name it. So that way, once you're done saving, I'm not going to save it because I'm not a state trooper, so I'm not going to save this car. But once you saved your car, it won't be in personal vehicles. Okay, so you can set a personal vehicle if you want, as long as it's within the department you're playing as. But you go to save vehicles, and then you go to the category it's in, which is, it's going to be emergency because that's all the cars we have. And then you'll have a list of your named cars. See, I got my Sheriff Charger and a Sheriff CVPI saved. So I'm going to spawn that because I want to delete the other one. Okay, so that's for vehicle functions, how that works, you know. Now I'm sure you're all curious about outfits, and the good news, yes, I have server-sided custom EUP. So you do not have to install any outfits yourself. This is all server-side. All you need to do is write /EUP in the chat. And then from there, you'll get a list of all the EUP. In my case, I'm Blaine County Sheriff, so I'm going to take the BCSO. Now, if you're a male character, do not select the female uniforms, as it will mess up your character. So just keep in mind. So if you're a female character, go with the female outfits. If you're a male character, go with the male outfits. So I know you're just going to select one. There's Detective. There's one I liked. There's one I like using. Hold on. Ah, this one. So as you can see, you just select one and it puts it on. I don't know if you save your character like that, if it'll spawn it. I'll let you guys experiment with that. But if not, it's not the end of the world. Just type EUP, well, /EUP in the chat, and you have access to all this. So that's for that. It's uniform. It's as simple as that. As you can see, I don't have my loadout. I have the megaphone. But if I spawn in my loadout, there we go. Now you'll notice I had the megaphone, but I no longer have it. It disappeared. So I'll have to use it again. I'll unequip it. Now it's there, along with all my other weapons. So that's why I said earlier, equip your loadout first and then equip the megaphone if you want to have the megaphone. You don't have to have it. It's if you want to have it. As for the radio, it's the keybind is customizable within the keybind section. All you need to do is bring up the overlay, and then you can choose to turn it on or off. And like I said earlier, I've enabled the function to use the radio without having it enabled in your hand. As long as the radio is on, you can hold down the key like this, and whatever you say is going to be broadcasted to the frequency you selected. Alright, so that is for characters, loadouts, and cars. Now let's move on to the 5PD stuff. You're probably asking how you join departments and whatnot. How do you know what department you're in, etc. Well, I'm going to show you that right now. Now, 5PD, as you know, has a police menu. So to do that, you press the default key, which is F11. You access the duty menu for 5PD. So to access the police menu, you need to be on duty. So I'm going to check this box on, which means I'm now on duty. I'm just going to disable callouts real quick. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. We'll go over all the different menus. Okay. So I'm now on duty with 5PD, which means I could access the police computer. To access the police computer, the default key binding is B on your keyboard. So we're going to press that. Now, yours won't look like this. Departments. I'm just gonna leave this this department real quick. All right, you're gonna see this. So as you can see, these are the different departments available to join. You can simply click join on whatever one. Some might require an application, some don't. That depends on the department chiefs. I'm not in charge of that. I let the department chiefs decide whether or not they require an application and if they are recruiting. So I'm going to join my department here. Uh, Earlier I was set to chief, but because I left the department, my rank and my call sign have been reset. So first let's talk about the department's tab, the overview, I guess you could say. There's a lot of options here that you will not see on your end because I am admin. Any admins could edit some of this stuff, but if you're not an admin with the 5PD or police computer, then you cannot. There's a lot of options you see here that you won't see, like to create ranks, delete ranks, and stuff like that. You won't see that. This you'll be able to see if you're the chief of police. And other than that, sorry, call sign format. Now, as I hover over it, there's a little brief explanation of how that works. So you got number, letter, 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 number, number. So example, I could be 1 Adam 13, and then a chief officer or anyone with the permission to change call signs will be able to change your call sign for you as you join their department. So that's the departments tab. Settings, there's only the account settings, and what's cool about that is you can put a display name, and then your rank is going to display here. I have no rank because I left the department, so it reset. But you can change your display name, so if you want to put your character's name instead of your Steam name or whatever gamer tag you have, you get to do that in the settings, which I found was pretty cool. That's why I did this. Citations. Now this is the tab that you get when you're given any tickets to any NPCs that you've stopped or whatever. It's gonna have a record of these. I don't know how long they stay or how often they stack up, but this is where they're gonna show up as. So as you can see, there's a ticket thing here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Other than that, services. Now you could call for various services, like your tow service, mechanic, prisoner transport, ambulance, coroner, fire department, animal control, and air ambulance. There's a lot of this stuff that is going to be listed in the 5PD main menu, which is a lot quicker access, but some of this stuff is not listed, I don't think anyway. So there's a much quicker way to access this, but there's an option there in the police computer should you choose to do that. The backup tab, this is player related. So anybody within your department that calls for backup, it will be listed here. From there, you could click the backup call out and click accept or deny. It is up to you. When you click accept, it's going to put you a yellow line or waypoint to the location of the call out. It's not going to follow, if example, there's a pursuit going on, I don't believe it's going to follow the player in real time. It's going to put a blip in their last known location, so it's up to you guys to communicate, give details on your whereabouts, which is pretty realistic in my opinion. I think it's pretty good that way. But other than that, if it takes place at the location where the backup call was generated. So that's worth keeping in mind. Callouts. This is going to be a list of ongoing callouts. So if your teammate is doing a callout, you'll be able to see it in here. I believe you'll be able to join the callout. I'm not quite sure. Maybe they have to request backup. That's up to you guys to experiment. I haven't really tested this, so you guys could go ahead and experiment with that. Reports. Now, I haven't made any, but any reports you create will show up here. So it'll be, usually you'd make a report, for example, an arrest or any events that occur. Ideally, you'd do that. I forget to do it most of the time. It's not something the game will punish you for. It's if you really want to immerse yourself in the game, there is the option to create some reports for the events that transpire into the game. Check license, pretty self-explanatory. You run the plate, and same for check ID. Now, the reports, as you can see, there's no like. Oh, well, you can make a new one. Never mind. I was about to say you can't create a report unless you search up a person, but you can create a new arrest report or a new empty report, which is a blank report template, I guess you could say, and you can delete some reports as well. So that's the overview of the police computer. That's all of its functionality. Admins can create departments, delete departments, and admin manager shows the admins on the in the 5PD department. There is none except for me, but I'm not listed in there as an admin theoretically. So there's none there. Okay. So that was the police computer. Now, there is a callouts menu. I don't remember the default keybind because I've changed it, but you can find those in the settings under the keybinds and FRMP section. All the 5PD keybinds will be listed in brackets saying 5PD, so don't worry about that. Now, like I said earlier, I've accessed the callout menu, which is this one right here. It's a little bit hidden by my Twitch overlay, but I'll run through the options, and oh well, you can see the options good. All right, so that's nice. So this is where you would request backup. So if you go to backup menu, you can request. I accidentally initiated a traffic stop. Don't worry about that. So you can request code 1, 2, or 3, or 99. Code 1 being just normal, like no lights. Code 2 being lights. Code 3 being lights and sirens. Code 99 meaning officer down. But as you can see, there is a multiple agency backup call out. So when you click this, you get to choose which department you want to have backup from. And it's not going to list your department because ideally if you want backup from your department, you just request the normal backup. So multi-agency backup request will show the other departments that you are not in. So from there, you select the agency and you go code 1, 2, or 3 to request the backup. And this is all player related, so don't expect to have any AI backup. That will not happen. It is up to a player to go within the police computer and accept the backup call out to assist you in that whatever you need backup with. Next, we got the add nearby player. Now, this is worth noting that the player has to be within your department and have to have the available status. See, right now I have disabled callouts, which shows my status as busy. So if their status is busy, this will not work. So keep that in mind. Make sure they are active and available, and this will add any nearby players from your agency to your current callout. Disable callout, we've talked about that. It basically puts you on a busy status and disables callouts. There are third-party callouts in the server right now, so they might bypass that function. You could just simply ignore them. It is up to you. So that is the callout menu. Now, let's touch on the main menu. Oh, let me just cancel that traffic stop. I'm still doing a traffic stop. Let me just cancel that. There we go. Okay. Speaking of traffic stop, by the way, I've added a plugin that generates a call out for the department you're in. for any traffic stop you make, so an officer can decide to assist you or not. But you can communicate via radio to say if you remember to cancel the traffic stop. I'm pretty sure I canceled it. Whatever. So, anyways, that's that. Now, by pressing G, which is the default keybind for the 5PD main menu, not the duty menu. From there, you got your scene menu, which is pretty cool. You can set a speed zone, but I personally don't use it because I have another radar and plate reader script that I'll show you guys in a bit. So I usually use the scene menu for objects. You know, you can place cones, barriers, all that cool stuff. And there's the function to delete all objects you placed and delete the previous object you placed. So it's pretty easy to use. You know, for example, let me just there. Let me place that there. So now it's there. And if I want it gone, I could either do this or do the other option. I'll just do this since I've only placed one. I like the fact that it has a little preview of where it's going to go. That makes it so much easier. And now I'm responding to a call out. Let me just... Oh. Now that we're on this subject. Now you respond to a call out. If the call out is done, or you don't want to respond to it, but you respond to it by accident, you just want to cancel it, bring up the call out menu. You'll see that there's a new option that appeared. Call out code 4. Code 4 means it's all clear. The call out's been dealt with. It's taken care of. So you just simply click that option, and the call out is gone. Alright, so back to the 5PD menu. You got the dispatch option. From there, you could radio and dispatch for an ID check, so that way you don't have to type their name in the computer. I do anyways, just for immersion purposes. And you could request dispatch to verify a vehicle license plate for you, which will come back with any tags. If the registration is invalid, anything like that, it'll come up on the over the map. These are all pretty self-explanatory. These are all the options we saw earlier in the police computer. You can request all these. And so you can request all these from the main menu and the police computer, like I said earlier. Personally, I think the main menu is way easier. You just press one key, and you have access to all the dispatch options. So that's for the main menu. Now I'm gonna go do a little traffic stop and show you how the functionalities of a traffic stop, assuming they're gonna work. Pursuit of armed suspects. We're gonna ignore that for now because you should know how callouts work. So let me go ahead and pull over a random soul that's gonna be pulled over for science. Yeah, this dude. And he's fleeing. Alright, let me just cancel that because I do not need a chase. I want suspect to pull over. Ah! That was my bad. Hashtag bloopers. You. Oh my god, why is everybody fleeing? There we go. Okay. So we follow the suspect until they stop. Now they've stopped. Now, the cool thing about 5PD is that if they stopped in a very bad position, you could simply press the E key, or whatever key you assign it to, and there's three options. You can enable follow, which means that you go in front of the suspect and they will follow you until you cancel the positioning. Enable mimic is what I use most of the time. That means they'll mimic your movements. I suggest you move slowly with that option, because if you move too fast, they tend to just go crazy. So they'll just basically mimic your movement until you cancel. And then, of course, the enable go to marker, which means you'll place a red marker and hit enter for where you want them to go. So I'm going to showcase that one. Right? Please note that the arrows will also choose the options, so make sure you're not hovering over the cancel positioning while using the marker, because otherwise it will just simply cancel it. So, example, I want them to go there. Now make sure you're not hovering over the cancel positioning, and then hit enter. When you hit enter, the car is going to reposition itself, just like that. Now you can exit out of that. Now, by default, if you exit the car, it normally shuts off the engine. However, I installed a script that allows you the option to either shut off your engine or leave it running. And in a traffic stop situation, most likely you're going to want to leave it running. So I'm going to leave it running by holding the exit button, not pressing. Because if you press, it'll shut off the engine. So I'm going to hold it. Now note your door stays open. And as you can see at the left side on the top of the map, it generated a call out for my traffic stop, so anybody in my police department will be able to see that call out and respond to it. So from there, walk up to the suspect, ignore that button binding. So simply press E again. This time a different menu is going to pop up. You get all your questions, everything like that in there, so you get to choose. So example, I'm going to ask questions. Have you been drinking recently? And then there's going to be a dialogue at the bottom. This driver told me yes, so it's a possible DUI. I'm going to breathalyze them. It told me yes, but they're at 0%, so they have not been drinking. But let's test for drugs, see what that happened. No, negative. So this person is not under the influence of anything. Okay. But that doesn't make them clean just yet, right? We didn't run their name and we didn't run their plates. Well, let's do just that. So go ahead and ask for the license. Now, don't worry if you don't remember the name or whatever and the menu goes away. There's a way to hold the license overlay on the computer. Simply press J on your keyboard by default, and a little annotation should pop up right there. And even if you get into your car on the police computer, you'll be able to see that while you look for a record. So let's go to the police computer. See, as you can see, it's right there. Of course, for the stream, they give me a weird name to type. So you're going to go to the Check ID tab on the left side, and then we're going to type the name. And then Hernandez. And then you simply click the search button, and a record should pop up. You got the age, date of birth, address, driver's license is valid. Let's open the criminal records window, see if he has anything. And as you can see, it's empty, so this person has no criminal record. Okay, good. Now we ran the name, but we have not ran the plate of this car. There's ways you could do this. You could either radio dispatch to run it for you, or you could go the old-fashioned way and look at the plate. So for the sake of this stream, I'm just going to not complicate myself. I'm going to radio it in. So the way you do that is by opening the 5PD main menu, go to dispatch, and we're going to check license plate. Oh, it's coming up with red tags. As you can see, it's got expired insurance, meaning the insurance is invalid. So if we would have ran the plate, that would have came up. See, his name was clean, but the plate was not. So from there, you kind of choose what you want to do. Normally, you'd find the person for driving with an expired registration, and you tow the vehicle away. You wouldn't arrest them because they haven't done anything, unless they did. Like, if they were involved in a major chase, then these charges would just be on top of the arrest, but that's besides the point. So you choose whatever option is there, order out of the vehicle. So for this case, I'm going to order out of the vehicle because I'm going to show you guys the different interactions you could have with them. So if there's more than one person in a vehicle, you could order specific people out. So if you just want the driver or one of the passengers, you get to choose from these. But in this case, I could either go all or driver. It doesn't matter because that's the only one that's in the car. So you click on it, and you see he popped out and he called me a dick. That's perfectly fine. Expect that to happen a lot as a police officer. So from there, if you press E again, now you'll see more options under the drug swap test. You can either search them, search the car, move the ped. They could either follow you, or you could grab them, or you could cuff them. And if you click dismiss, that means you freed them. You let them go, basically. So I'm going to ask the ped to follow me, because they are not under arrest. So make sure you cancel move when you're done moving the ped, otherwise they'll keep following you around. And if you want to put them in the back of your car as well, you're going to have to cancel the move, otherwise it will not work. So let me search the ped. Please note that the search ped function in vehicle does not always work. It's kind of finicky, but you can try it anyways. In this case, it did work, so you had a pen, ID card, and a watch. So let's go ahead and try to do the same for the vehicle. Just simply walk up to it and search vehicle. And we got headphones and keys. Alright. So he had nothing illegal on him, anything like that. So normally I would go with the full thing. You know, I'd create a citation and I would call a tow truck for his car, which I'm going to do just to show you the dispatch options, but I'm not going to create the whole citation thing. I'm just basically showing you the navigations of the different menus. So to tow a vehicle, access the main menu in the dispatch, and you'll see the request tow truck. The way this works is it'll request a tow truck for the nearest vehicle, so make sure that you're right next to the vehicle when you request a tow truck or anything like that. It works for peds as well, so like coroner service will take care of the nearest dead bodies in your area, same for medical services, prisoner transport as well, anything. You just make sure you have to be near the vehicle or the person when you request for something via dispatch. So I'm going to request a tow truck for this car right here. Now this thing happened. I canceled the traffic stop. That can happen. Let me just cancel that. This is most likely due to my keybinds because I set my pullover key to the A button on my controller, which is what it would normally be set as on LSPDFR. But you get the point though. Whoever called in a tow truck or anything from dispatch, they will get an icon on the map showing. Now I cancel it so you won't see anything, but you'll see an icon on the map for it. Any other players, whether they're in your department or not, they will not see it, so only the caller will be able to see the icon on the map. If they failed to get to a certain location, an error will pop up on the top of your minimap notifying you of the error. Alright, so let me just fix my car real quick. I initiated a traffic stop again. I just cancel it. Alright. So now I'm going to show you the custom radar and plate reader script that I installed. To access this, which is also customizable in the keybinds settings, the default is F5. This will bring up this little overlay. You can move it wherever you want. This is not the radar itself, this is the remote, and to tweak the settings of the radar. So if you want the radar on, simply click the display toggle. As you can see, it's right here. And you can click the power button to power it on. And then from the remote, you can select the different modes. Like this, or like this. And as you can see, hold on, let me just... It should measure speed. Hold. I haven't really gotten the whole hang of it, though. I believe this is the option, but you can tweak that a little bit. You just wait till... This works with AI cars and player cars, just so you know. All the speed's going to be measured in here. But, yeah, you just mess around with those settings. You got your front radar and your rear radar. Okay. Now for the plate reader, you just go to plate reader, and then you could toggle the display right here. Now obviously you have to be within range of the plate for it to work. So you have to be in a position where the front of your vehicle could capture the plate. So we're gonna toggle display on that. And we're gonna close this. We're gonna toggle display on that. And to close the remote, simply press escape on your keyboard. Like that. Because if you press F5 again, it's not gonna close it. So that's that. Now, one more thing is you might want to know how to accept callouts, because we talked about callouts earlier. The default key binding for that is Y on the keyboard, though it can be customized like all the other controls for 5PD. And secondly, how do you stop a person on foot or whatever? How do you perform an arrest? And so on and so forth. Well, let me give you a little demonstration. So we're going to walk up to a person. Not a cop, please. Cops could cause issues if you try to arrest a cop, by the way. There's usually people that hang around here. Yeah, okay. We're gonna... So equip either your stun gun. You don't have to have a weapon on you. You could simply aim at the person, but it's gonna put you in the fight animation, which is not really cool. Not really immersive. Simply aim at the person and hold the E button. You have to do that quick because they'll start running away. Unless you stop them. But there's a more slick, quote-unquote, slick way you could do this. I'm going to show you. I would suggest only aiming at the person if you're like already in a pursuit with them and you want to arrest them. That's what I suggest. I'm just trying to look for a person right now. Hopefully someone that's just standing there. We'll go back to the station. Oh, wait, maybe there's some people around here. No? Okay. Let's head back to the station. Maybe the peds there respawned. Yeah, okay. Alright, let me put some light. Okay. Oh, well, the spotlights. Oh, they do work. Alright. So anyways, so if you want a more slick way of stopping a ped without them running out because you have a weapon, simply go to the go close to the one you want to stop and hold the E button. There you go. Now you have them under your control, so to speak. So from there, you could open up the menu with the E key. Here, follow me, sir. And they'll follow you around. So we're going to cancel this. I dismiss the pad. Actually, no. I'm going to show you the cuff. Now, of course, you can cuff them from this menu. But if you want to make it even cool looking, if you aim at them, they'll start talking, but they won't flee because they're still under like your control. So from there, you have two options. Either you aim at them and you hold the E button again. You could go to the menu to cuff them, or you could simply go close to them again and hold E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cuff him like that. It's going to put a little animation, and from there they are cuffed. Now let me show you how you put a suspect at the back of a cruiser if you want to bring them to jail yourself. Open the E. Now either ask them to follow you, or you could grab them. I showed you the follow earlier, so I'm going to do the grab. It looks a little weird, I know, but make sure you bring them close to the door and open E. Make sure you cancel move, because otherwise you will not be able to put them in the car. I won't crash your game or anything, but you'll just say, well, get a warning message saying that you need to cancel the movement before putting them in your car. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, when you get close to the car door, watch what happens when I press the E button. You got a prompt coming up, and they'll get in the car themselves, even though they're supposed to be quote unquote cuffed. It looks funny, I know, but at least it does work, and they get into the car. So once in the vehicle, you can get in the vehicle, and as you can see, a little blue circle popped up. That's because I'm near a jail point. But other than that, there's going to be a prompt that's going to pop up on the top left corner to say press O on the keyboard to set a waypoint to the nearest jail. So in my case, I'm right next to one, so I'm going to go here. You simply drive to the blue dot or blue circle. Now, if you're using controller, ignore that prompt. It is not assigned unless you assign it in your settings, in your keybinds. I can't press up on the D-pad because that's my accept callouts button, and it does not work. However, by default, it is U on the keyboard. So just press U, and the circle, and the person in the car will disappear. That poor guy just got arrested for nothing for the sake of this video. So that wraps up how to use the 5PD functions in the server. So now, with this knowledge, you're able to join the server, get used to the controls, customize the settings, and enjoy the first response MP server. And to the new members in the server, I say welcome. I will try to tweak the settings a bit more in the V menu to try to label the vehicles properly, as well as some cars I'm working on trying to get more engine sounds to make sure all the cop cars have engine sounds. I have been using a custom siren. Unfortunately, it's not server-sided. If you do want the siren on your end, there is a channel on the Discord where I linked the exact siren that I'm currently using. Here, I'll show you guys a quick demo. I know you roughly got one earlier, but I'll show you a full demo of the siren that I'm using. So here's tone 1. Tone 2. Tone 3. And the air horn. So that's it. It is called the Wayland Cencom Gold Siren. I did not make this. I got this from lcpdfr.com. Any of the scripts you see in here, I did not make. Some of them have been tweaked for the liking of the server, but any of the cars scripts, anything like that, have not been made by me. I've just gathered them into the server and tweaked them so that we may use them as most optimal as we can, I guess you could say. Sorry, I had trouble finding the words there. But other than that, those who are watching the stream or watching the video pre-recorded, the Discord for the server is linked below the description of the YouTube stream. So go ahead and join that, because you will need the whitelist role to be able to join the FiveM server. Otherwise, your connection will be automatically rejected by TXadmin. So if you do want to take part in the server, go ahead, click the Discord link in the YouTube stream and accept the rules. Once you accepted the rules, you'll be given the whitelist role. From then on, you could join the server and enjoy whatever department you choose to join. If you do want to apply to be a staff member, do DM me, send me a message, and I'll run through that with you. There's not really an application process, so don't worry about that. It's more like a little interview with me. And if you do want to be chief slash head of a police department that has not a chief yet, DM me about that as well, and we'll talk about that. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this little introduction, and I hope to see you guys on the server soon.